Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to tell you that it's a beautiful, beautiful day in Binghamton, New York today. Tom is out with the dog. I'm not going to get out with the dog again today. Geez, that happens too often, doesn't it? But the fun thing and the wonderful thing is that it's sunny, and I do like my sun. I'm a Colorado girl, and I do like my sun. This is Yvonne DeVito. You're watching Smart Women Conversations, and my special, special guest today is Ellen Finkelstein. Ellen, welcome to the show. Now,
welcome, Yvonne.
Yes,
Thank you, Yvonne.
Well, we're going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit how we met and things like that, because it's really relevant to the things that I think women today should be doing. But I want to tell them a little bit more about you. And I need to put on my trusty glasses for this. Okay. Ellen Finkelstein teaches online entrepreneurs who have a positive message to create a flourishing online business. She does this by helping them reach more people through writing and speaking and guiding them toward the strategy and technology that will help them reach their goals. With over 15 years online, Ellen has created websites with high search engine rankings and over 300,000 visitors per month, over 24,000 subscribers, and many, many followers on social media. She's a published author. I applaud that. You know I do, everyone. With books ranging from 20 to 1,200 pages. So, Ellen, when I saw the 1,200 pages, kind of fell off of my chair. But we could talk about that if we get to it, because that's really a big task. I'm in awe. You can get started with her at changetheworldmarketing.com, and we're going to talk a little bit today about her 13 steps to a successful online business, and plus her video training. It's just something that she's good at. It's something she does that helps you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching. But I do focus on the ladies, as everyone knows. Ellen, this is great to have you with the show. I'm wondering, audience, where are you stuck? Are you stuck in your business somewhere, or are you stuck wondering how to do videos and things like that? Well, maybe Ellen can help you. Ellen, tell us, before we get too much started in your wonderful book, because I have it open over here and I want to share a little bit of step one with people, but this is a journey. We're all on a journey, and tell us
Absolutely.
a little bit about your journey.
I started online when my kids were little. They are now 33 and 31, so they're not young anymore. But when I started online, they were very little. And I needed a way to work at home. Mm-hmm. And I started by doing first technical editing and then writing technical books. And that 1,200-page book was a book on AutoCAD, which is a computerized drafting program.
Yes, it is, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. And that book went to 17 editions from 1997 to 2017, something like that. It is no longer being published, but it went on for a really, really long time. And it was a big part of my life for a long time. And then I went on to writing books on PowerPoint. And so I had several published books on that as well. And I created my first website as an author platform. So it used to be that when you went to a publisher and they published the book, they promoted the book, they bought space in bookstores, shelf space, and they promoted the book for you. And as the internet kind of became a thing, they realized that they couldn't do all of that. They never actually got very good at it, most of them. At least my publishers never did. And so there was this idea that the author should have to do some promotion as well, and that was called a platform. Mm-hmm. And so authors started creating websites all of a sudden, and started having email lists, and started doing newsletters, and started being online promoting their knowledge about the topic. And so in the first case, it was about AutoCAD, and I had a blog, and I started a list. And then when I started writing about PowerPoint, I did the same thing for PowerPoint. And that is a different website, not changetheworldmarketing.com, but ellenfinkelstein.com, which I started. This was this crazy website that was half about PowerPoint and half about AutoCAD, because it was about my books, really. And then in 2010 or 2011, I live in a very small town in Iowa. I'm not there right now. I'm a snowbird. We're in sunny
Still
Florida.
in Florida, huh?
Yeah, we're in Florida. But I live in Iowa, and in a small college town. And there were people who needed a way to make a living online because there weren't a lot of jobs there. And so I taught a local course in online marketing based on what I had learned about my website. And to show them how to create a website, I created a website called changetheworldmarketing.com, and it was a workshop. And I brought them, they had their own domains and they created their own websites and so on like that. And then I realized that I just loved it so much that eventually became a bigger part of my income than my earlier one, which was, ellenfinkelstein.com, which I still have and is still active. It's much more corporate oriented. I don't do the AutoCAD part anymore, but I am active in the PowerPoint world. But Change the World Marketing is kind of my love.
Well, this is so interesting because I started out 15, going on 20 years now, working with small businesses in upstate New York to improve their web content because their websites were so poorly written. I mean, the CEO or whoever had put up something and described their products, and they just weren't web friendly. So the web is such a different medium. So it's funny how we got started that way. So on your journey, I mean, PowerPoint, people could do well to learn better PowerPoint, but
yes.
So I want to make sure people are listening to that in case they want to connect with you. Maybe there's a way. But let's talk about your book, The 13 Steps. 13 Steps to a Successful Online Business. It's a PDF, and I'm really fond of step 1 for today. I mean, the whole
By
book.
the way, I designed that in PowerPoint.
No kidding.
Yeah, sure.
There you go, folks. How about that? It's very, let me see. Let me share my screen. Ellen, I'm going to share, and you're going to go away for a minute.
Okay, bye.
And people are going to see this. So what we have here is Ellen's step 1 of her 13 steps. And the decide on a direction and a strategy is so vital. Discover what you like and what you're good at. Decide how you want to earn money. Ellen, talk to us about that, because most people have a vague idea, well, I'm going to earn money doing this, that, or the other thing. And they really don't have that strategy in that direction.
Yes. So it's true that there's this magical thing about making money online. And very often people are kind of sucked into it without, first of all, thinking about whether they really could be an entrepreneur, if that's for them. It's not for everybody. And without thinking about what they like, what they know, and what they're good at, which is that trifecta of, the perfect thing for you to be doing, what you like, what you're good at, what you know, what you would like to know. And then you need to have a strategy of how you're going to make money online. Just to give you an example, if you're going to make money from ads, you need to have money to pay for ads. Before you're going to bring in money. And then what are you going to be advertising? So you pay money, that kind of thing. And if you have people put ads on your website, then you need enough traffic to make it, to get it worthwhile. Make it worthwhile that people come there and click. And so you can't just say, oh, I'm going to make money from ads. There's a structure that has to be built up first, and that's true of any business, and certainly online. And the same thing is true from affiliate marketing. People say, well, I can't make my own product, so I'll just promote other people's products. But the truth of the matter is you need an audience to promote too. And so again, you have to build up a structure, build up a foundation for your business. Products and services, if you have something that you know about and you have knowledge. And I kind of focus on that with Change the World Marketing as my URL. I attract people who have knowledge and have something that where they want to help people.
Yep.
So they want to put it into some kind of product, or they're either speaking or writing. But even then, you need to, I find that people are really caught up in creating their knowledge and getting that out to the world, but then they don't know how to promote it.
Right.
And so it doesn't sell. So in all of these cases, you need to build a foundation. You need to decide how you're going to structure your business.
Right. So that platform and fan base, as they call it today, is so elemental to elementary, either way, to what we want to succeed online. Because, as you said, you can't sell to the internet. You have to sell to the people on the internet, and so you have to find them. Point. You know, where are they? So what kinds of things do you tell people to do about building a list? Because I think my experience is a lot of the women that I talk to who are of a certain generation, shall we say, they have family and friends, but you know, your family and friends are not going to build your business and support you. You have to get other people. So what kind of advice do you give someone like that?
Yes. So, I think women have maybe a little bit of an advantage in that we are really good at creating, developing groups and socializing with people. And of course, social media is also all about being social. So you have to attract people with something. In this case, often it's some free offer that you have that attracts people. But then one of the places I see people falling down is maintaining a relationship with these people on an ongoing basis. So people are not going to necessarily buy from you right away unless maybe through a referral. So yesterday, this was on I do PowerPoint design. This is through Finkelstein.com, and somebody referred a client to me, and the person just plunked down some money and said, yes, I want you to design my slides. And so that's a very quick sale because of my reputation. People know me, and that was great. But very often when you're doing internet marketing, you're marketing to people that you don't know yet. So you start by offering them something for free, but then you have to keep a relationship with them. And you do this through something called Autoresponders, which are the automatic emails people get right after they subscribe. And then you do it through your broadcast emails that should become often enough so that people appreciate what you have. They see your expertise, you give them value in your emails, and then you market to them at the same time. And so that's only one piece of it, is building up your list that way. And you really can't do it on your own. And so the next big thing is partnering. So partnering with other people. So here you are right now promoting my free offer, and I could return it by promoting your free offer to my list. And that's a partnership. And even just speaking like this is a partnership, because you'll promote this and I will also promote it. And so this way we both expand our community. And so you grow your community that way, in those ways, offering something for free, with partnerships on social media. And then you have to maintain that community. You talked about a fan base, but it's not just people who are just following you. You're giving them value. You're creating a community. And that's really how you get fans, and how people learn your expertise and start to buy from you.
Right. So absolutely. And sometimes women are shy about that. So they don't really know someone. They may follow them on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they are shy about asking. And I always tell them, you can't hurt to ask. You and I will respond. And most of the women that I have had on my show, if you email them, they offer their email to you on their website or somewhere, Facebook or wherever it is. That's their invitation to say, tell me what you're thinking about. And you may very well find a partner that way.
I always assume every time somebody requests to be me a friendship, on Facebook, they make a friend request, and my response is, how can I help you? And I'm hoping that it will be some type of partnership, and maybe only 1 in 10 turns out, but that's okay. If you find a good partner, then you can meet with the person and see what comes of it. And
Right.
partnerships, I just finished teaching a course called Multiply Your Business with Partnerships. And
Yes, you did.
and it's just so powerful. And there's so many ways to partner. You can do it with money involved or without money involved. You can do it on a simple level, on a kind of complicated level. There are lots of ways of doing it, but it's a very powerful way to grow your business.
So in your course, excuse me, when I think of partnerships, I'm thinking of some of the women that I work with. They don't know what that really means, and so they're afraid of it. And I mean, let's put that out there. That's a big thing that women have, is this fear of failure, fear of, I ask you and you're going to say no, and that means you don't like me, which we need to get them over that, right?
Yes.
But the whole partnership idea. So I can remember when that was just beginning, people were beginning to do things like that. And I didn't quite understand it. It was like, so what does this mean? What do I have to do? And this person already has, I talked about this with one of my other guests, is that sometimes we seem wildly successful when we're still just getting started out ourselves. We just know how to make that approach and that appearance. And so the women who are afraid to ask, what is the steps, like 2 or 3 steps of here's how you do it and here's what happens in a partnership? Can you describe that?
Sure. So you'll have a better response if you develop some type of relationship before you make the ask, before you do that asking. So number 1, obviously sign up for their email list. And I recommend in autoresponders that you tell people to respond to you. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me what your problems are. So if you get an autoresponder that says, after you've subscribed, that says reply to me, then reply and say, just start that conversation that way. That person could be a possible partner. So that's one thing. Read their blog posts and comment on the blog posts. We all love comments on our blog posts. And so the point is that you get that person you start a relationship with that person already. It's much easier to ask somebody to do a partnership than somebody you don't know. And so you should always get to know that person, or get that person to know who you are first. So you subscribe, you comment on their blog posts, you reply to the person, and then you friend them on social media. So Facebook, LinkedIn would be 2 places that you would want to follow them. If you're into Instagram, then follow them on Instagram. But on Facebook and LinkedIn, they have to reply, and so they might notice who you are. And if you do those things one after another, then that person hopefully will know who you are. Now, some people have a VA take care of all of that for you, and they might not know who you are, but that's how you try doing that. And then a next step is to do what you're doing to me, is to offer to interview them. And it doesn't have to be a formal show where you have a series like you do. You could just say, I read your blog posts and I see what you're doing, and I read your free offer and I really like it. And I'd love to interview you and just put it on my blog. Something really simple, a one-off type of thing. And people like to be asked to be interviewed. Yes. You're offering them something. You're offering them some publicity and exposure. And you can explain how you'll promote it. What's cool about that is they will also promote you. So it's a 2-way partnership. And that's a great way to get to know somebody. So here we are, you and I are getting to know each other in this interview, and who knows what may come out of that after that. It could be anything. So after that, once you know the person, it's so much easier. And you could suggest, let's recommend each other's freebies, or let's do a guest blog post. All of these things are very simple. Those are simple things, and that interview is another way of partnering. So those are very simple ways to start without having to get involved with, affiliate marketing or or telesummits or giveaways, or things that are a little bit more complicated in their structure.
Right, and those can come later, but it's important what you just said is that the partnership isn't the way some women would think of it as the old 20th century, where you sat down and you said, well, you're going to do this and I'm going to do this, and you have this title and I have this title, and we sign here on the dotted line, and we don't. It's not way. This particular kind of partnership is not that way. This is more of a friendly way to promote each other, because women do support each other.
And you can support men too.
Well, and that's it. You support them, they support you. But the wonderful thing is, beyond that, you probably will now meet other people you wouldn't have met, because this person will introduce you, and you may introduce them to people that they wouldn't
Absolutely.
have met. That's one of the things that I love about the relationships I build with my Smart Women Conversations, because I get so many, hey, you need to know about this person. This
Right.
person is doing these wonderful things, and then we get together and we set up a time, and I do a show. But but like you said, when we met, it's because I was online searching. So everyone pay attention to this. I went online searching for a specific thing. Now, I don't remember what it was. It was probably something about small businesses. It was probably something about women in small businesses.
Okay.
And Ellen's website offer came up. I mean,
Correct.
the link came up probably on the first page, because I hardly ever go to the second page. So I'm like, this one looks, now it was among like 10 others. So
Right.
when I get them, there's at least 10 on a page. And I'm like, this is the one I'm going to click on.
Cool.
Because
I'm
this
excited.
is the one, yes, this is the one that I
think that's
like.
wonderful.
And there was your 13 steps. And there was I like this woman. I need to have her on my show. And there you go, Ellen.
So when you put yourself out there and you have good content and valuable content, perhaps there was some search engine optimization that was done that caused me to be up there on the top. And the term that I use is online business, is the term that I kind of focus on for my most general term keywords. But when that happens, people can just come to you. I recently had somebody else offer to interview me for a podcast, and he has a very large list, so he promotes it to a very large list, and this just blew me away. I don't know how he got onto my list, but he sent me an email that said, I've been subscribed to your email for 2 weeks, and I can't believe how much value you give. I'd like to interview you for my podcast.
Awesome.
Like, out of the blue. And so when you do that, when you provide good value to people, then opportunities can come from it.
Absolutely. I think there's that word value. So don't be putting out fluff. Don't be just, I mean, checklists are good. I think checklists are great. I have a checklist that I offer people, but the value has to be in giving away your expertise. And not being afraid that, oh my gosh, then what do I have left to charge people for? Because you are a multifaceted person, ladies, and we can help you with that. I mean, Ellen certainly has a way to help you with that. Tell me a little bit more, Ellen, about, you do a number of webinars and things online. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, one of my focuses is helping people with webinars. I do webinars myself, and I started doing webinars in 2007, which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
For webinars. Then it was for a third-party company that did webinars, and they hired me and actually paid me a fee to do a webinar. And I still do webinars for outside companies sometimes, not always for money, but sometimes for the list, for expanding my list. But I also have organized my own webinars. Some of them are sales webinars. And I do partnerships that way. So doing a webinar is one way to sell a product, and you can bring in affiliate partners and they will promote you. And it could be very successful. So I had, one of my experiences was a few years ago, I did was promoting a product called about PowerPoint. It was called High Persuasion Presentation Program. And I got 2 people to promote me, and together they brought me in about 1,000 people.
Wow.
And I did a webinar for each one of them. So they were on the call and they promoted it. And I sold, over $10,000 worth of a $97 product. And I also grew my list in about a week or two of 1,000 people. So that's another type of partnership. And webinars are a great way. Webinars are transformative in terms of all of history. So we know people have been speaking, friends, Roman countrymen. So we have examples from Rome and Greece and going back to India, people speaking to crowds. But later on, if you wanted to speak to the public, on television or radio, you needed to get invited to television or radio. Mm-hmm. And just the way self-publishing has transformed book writing, webinars have transformed speaking, so that you can now speak as long as you can get an audience. You can speak to anyone, anywhere in the world. I do a annual thing called Outstanding Presentations Workshop. And the second year, when it was free, we got 3,000 people subscribed from 97 countries. So that is just reaching the world. You can reach the world by speaking online. And that, what we're doing now is speaking online, and podcasts are speaking online. So webinars is just a kind of a little bit more of a formal way when you're using slides and so on like that. It's not even necessary. In fact, when I do that workshop, not all the guests use slides. Sometimes they speak just like you and I are speaking with live video. But the point is, you can reach the world that way. It's an amazing transformation of the ability for us to get our message out to the world.
So we're coming to the end now, and I will recommend the 13 steps. And I know you might have another product you'd like to recommend, which I will put in the blog post, folks. Now, what I'd like to wrap up with is, a little bit about the fact that you were on this journey, and you started out in this AutoCAD. I mean, to me, that just AutoCAD, gosh, the brain you must need for that. And now you're doing this thing here. So you kind of pivoted somewhere along the way. Tell us how you felt about it, or, where it happened, or, give us some sense, because I tell people all the time to be ready to pivot.
Well, I would say I've always had this kind of left-right brain thing together. So always this combination of the technical and the relationship type of thing. So in college, I majored in history and math. So that's an example of those two things together. And then before I had my kids, I was a benefits manager. And in human resources, benefits is the most technical of all of the areas of it. Legal, it's financial, it's very technical, but you're helping people with they call you up with their problems about health and their family and stuff like that. And it's this very personal thing. So again, it was that kind of combination. And to me, one of the things I do when I help my people, and you mentioned it when you gave my bio, is I help people get their message out to the world, in an inspiring way. But I also help them with the technology and the strategy of doing it. So I like to give people that, it's that balance of your message and inspiring the world, but yet you need the technical and the structural and the strategic basis for it. So it's that combination. So to me, it kind of came out of it. And writing a technical book is a combination of a writing skill, which is a soft skill, and the hard skill of whatever it is, AutoCAD or PowerPoint.
So really, I mean, Ellen, I so appreciate your being on the show, because you have brought forth some ideas, I hope, for the ladies who watch. And I'm going to put all of the information you need for her ChangeTheWorldMarketing.com, Ellen Finkelstein, and everything else you need to know will be on the blog and also on YouTube. So Ellen, I can't thank you enough for being on the show. This has been really great.
Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
This is Yvonne DeVita, Smart Women Conversations, and we'll see you next week.